buy a PS5.
Also, this point's really bad. Last gen, prior to the 8th gen, had a similar issue. PS3 and Xbox 360 lasted until 2015, even though the PS4 and Xbox One were released in 2013. Okay, so the reason why I say this point sucks is because we're 4 years into a new console generation. Count it, 4, nigga. This was 2 years. It took 2 years for them to finally axe support for PS3 and Xbox 360. It's taking 4 years. So people are really tripping on this. Like, someone says, I think this happens this is normal every generation. No, it's not normal for them to last 4 years. That's a long time. That's like if they continued to support the 3DS for like 4 or 5 years after the Switch came out. They didn't. They were doing multiple. They eventually, they wanted so much to do the 3DS and the Switch at the same time. They wanted so much for both of those to be supported by Nintendo, just in case the Switch sucked like the Wii U did, and they would have a handheld to fall back on, right? But they didn't. The Switch didn't suck. The Switch sold immensely. Massively, immensely. Either of them. And it made them just stop supporting the Nintendo 3DS. Let me see when they stopped supporting the Nintendo 3DS. Let's see. That's online support. Hardware was discontinued in 2020. The Switch came out in what, 2015? 2017. 3 years in. Nintendo Switch, I believe, was 2016. So 4 years, right? If we keep dragging on and games keep coming out 5 and 6 years into this console's generation's life, then by my estimate, by my approximation, the PS5 and the Xbox Series failed. If you still have half of your ecosystem, half of your player base on last generation consoles, 6 years into your console generation, you fucked up. You did not create enough appealing experiences for the new generation of consoles to make people feel incentivized enough to buy the next generation hardware. This is not a previous generation issue. This is not a generational issue that happens every generation. The last time we saw a shift this big where it took this long for consoles to be rotated out was the PS2 era, because the PS2 install base was so fucking big that it was impossible for Sony to stop supporting it. Like, Sony was like, dude, we can't stop supporting this thing. This thing is a moneymaker. How do we stop? It is not the same. This is not okay. This is not good. This is not normal. 4 years of extended support, especially when it's supposed to be a console generation upgrade, is bad. Nintendo has the excuse when it comes to looking at, yes, I just reacted to my own YouTube video and then looked at the comments. So I can make this a commenters don't understand, which is good. Nintendo has the excuse of that the 3DS was not supposed to be replaced, was not supposed to be succeeded by the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch was a hybrid handheld plus home console. The Nintendo 3DS was only a handheld console. It was supposed to be a new venture, a new exploration into the console market to see if something would stick. And if it didn't, they still had the Nintendo 3DS to fall back on. That is the difference. This is a generational upgrade, and it's not sticking with half of your player base. This isn't normal. 4 years in. This is fucked up. This is bad. If you think it's normal, it means you're jaded. And if you think this one, those comments were like, sure, whatever, right? This guy, I don't know what he means by that. They're like not good. Like, this guy said they are objectively worse and less powerful than the new generation consoles, so lower FPS and resolution. FPS and resolutions aren't what make a console good, though. Look at the Wii and Nintendo Switch. And I had to say that because I don't know what this guy means by that, because he didn't elaborate. But this point is just really bad. This point sucks. This point is terrible because you don't need good graphics or good resolution to make a good console. Look at the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is a phenomenal piece of hardware. It is a good gaming console. Sure, it runs on the Steam hardware, like it runs on the Steam what's the word I'm looking for here? It runs on the Steam OS ecosystem, so it's basically just a handheld PC that's running off of Linux, but it is supposed to be, in a sense, a handheld gaming console. A hybrid gaming console, actually, because you can plug it up to a dock. Unfortunately, the dock doesn't give it any additional resolution support or anything. And then we have this one here. It says, can't play Spider-Man 2, Rise of the Ronin, Final Fantasy 7, Rebirth, Final Fantasy 16, Stellar Blade on PC or PS4. They are PS5 only, and there are more games that are so. They could convince people to buy the PS5. All those games are eventually coming to PC, though. Like, we know all these games are eventually coming to PC. We know the new God of War is coming to PC. It's already been announced. We know Spider-Man 2 is coming to PC. We know Rise of the Ronin is coming to PC. Ghost of Tsushima already did. Final Fantasy 17, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth is coming to PC. We have the first one, right? These aren't compelling enough reasons to tell someone to, instead of buying the PS5, to just buy a PC and wait. This isn't a compelling reason because these aren't exclusive. They're not launching day in with console, which is probably a good thing for Sony, right? Because maybe it makes people feel as if the Sony ecosystem still has some sort of exclusivity, at least timed exclusivity, like it used to, for like Call of Duty games. But it's not enough to make people want to buy their consoles. It's proof of that. No matter how much people say Stellar Blade is an amazing game with a sexy female protagonist that's not woke, yeah, let's go Stellar Blade, it's not selling PS5s. It's not selling PS5s. Spider-Man 2, I don't know why I spelled it like that, not selling PS5s. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Final Fantasy 16, not selling PS5s. They don't have the software to force people to want to stay in their ecosystem. And then I saw one that was like a price one, and it was really bad. I want to find it. I think he deleted his comment. Was it here? Oh, where is it? Yeah. Oh, he deleted his comment. Oh, here it is. Here it goes. Yeah, as much as I'd like Sony, besides their questionable decisions, I don't know how telling people that they need a PlayStation Plus account or a PlayStation account to play PlayStation games is questionable. They just should have done it on release, not waited 2 months. So now they're making sure that people have PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Online, whatever it's called, on release of, I believe, the new Path of Exile, because it's a PlayStation game. That's fine. If you don't like that, don't fucking play it. But Ubisoft wants you to have their launcher for X Defiant. The finals requires that you have an Embark ID. This shouldn't be an issue. If it's an issue for you, then you want the Steam monopoly or the duopoly of like Steam plus Epic Games, which I guess fine. I also don't want to have a bajillion launchers on my computer. I don't have EA Origin. I don't have Battle.net. I only have two. I have Steam and I have Epic Games. But it's because everything I want to play is on those, right? I play the finals though, and I need an Embark ID for that. If I can play PlayStation games through Steam, but still need like PlayStation Plus or whatever, and that is the rule, and I really want to play that game, I'll just play it. I'll just pay the $15 a month or whatever and play it, because that means it's worth it. If you don't find that worth it, that's fine, but I don't think that's a questionable or shady or scummy decision. You just gotta hold that shit. It's kind of how they make their money. A lot of people are not upgrading because the new consoles are too damn expensive. Also, God of War Ragnarok is available on PS4. Also, Final Fantasy 16 Remake, question mark, question mark, question mark. I don't believe it is. As I'd like these new games, like you listed 3 of them, it's just not... What? As I'd like these new games that you listed, like 3 of them. Okay, that didn't make sense, but okay. It's just not worth it for now. $500 4 years into a console generation is not expensive. It's still $500 to this day, and we haven't seen a price drop for this console. Because it's worth the money, they weren't overpriced on release. Yeah, the PS3 was overpriced on release. That's why they had to make another model that was cheaper. That's why. That's the difference. The PS5 is not inherently expensive. Like, the cost of everything went up. So, unfortunately, that's just how life works, right? The cost of everything went up. They're still selling these consoles at a loss. They are loss leaders. That's what they're for. The only console manufacturer that's probably selling their console at a profit is Nintendo. Like, more than likely, the Nintendo Switch is not $300. I'm sorry. You could probably make a gaming handheld tablet thingy, like a doohickey with like a Snapdragon processor and like a 3D printed motherboard, for like $200. Like, they're charging an extra $100 because it's a Nintendo tax, baby. But when it comes to the PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles, they're sold at a loss. The Series X and S and the PS5, disc and digital edition. So if you think they're too expensive, you're just broke. If it's been 4 years and you couldn't save up $150 a year to get $600 to cover tax, it comes with one controller, you're broke. I'm sorry. Like, unless you're a kid, you don't really feasibly have an excuse to say that these consoles are too expensive. Because for the amount of hardware you're getting, for the amount of power in the hardware you're getting, for the amount of features in the controller, in the console specs, they feel like that for that $500 price tag, they're actually a reasonable entry price into gaming for the current generation. You buy a laptop with PS4 spec, you're spending $1,200, $1,300 free. You buy a gaming tower with PS5 or Xbox Series spec, you are spending, if you're buying it brand new, you are spending $800 or $900, probably $900. Probably spending like $800 or $900, depending on what brands you want. If you want Intel, you could probably get it cheaper with like an A770, and it's pretty close at like 1440p, maybe. But if you want NVIDIA, if you want that NVIDIA tax, and you want that Ryzen CPU, you're spending $900 or $800. The PS5, for all of its flaws, for all of the hamstringing that console does to you, is $500. You broke bitch. Fucking hold that shit. Hold that shit with like all of the fury in my heart. I want gaming to be cheaper, but if you want gaming to be cheaper, don't buy a console. If you don't think $500 is worth it for a console, that's fine. Go build yourself a $500 gaming PC and see what performance you get, and then tell me if that was worth it. Now you get the inherent value of being able to stream straight off of it, watch YouTube, listen to Spotify, have whatever your third monitor up is. I don't know what you do with your third monitor. You're probably scrolling Reddit. You get all of that inherent extra value for $500, but you're getting a significantly weaker machine with a worse UI because Windows is not seamless when it comes to gaming compared to gaming consoles. $500 is a good price for these consoles. I don't even own a console. I don't own a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. My wife has a Series S. I bought it for her. So I have no stake in this fight. I'm not like a Sony fanboy or an Xbox fanboy. I have a Nintendo Switch. My wife's playing Animal Crossing on it right now. That's the only console I have because I wanted a gaming handheld and I didn't want to spend $400 on a Steam Deck yet. I'll get around to it. But until then, PC is my only ecosystem, and I can still tell you that the value for money proposition of a PS5 is so fucking high. It is so good. And if you don't think it's worth it, you probably just don't really want to game that much. Truly. You want to play like a few old games that you already have. You think new games suck and their monetization is ass, and there's not enough good new games to support the price of the $500. But for the vast majority of people, I don't think anyone would really disagree that $500 for a gaming console of the spec and power level of a PS5 and Xbox Series X isn't worth it. I can't really dissect any more of these comments. I think that's about it. My list was old. Oopsies. This guy is a real one. RX000. He's always here. He's been a long-time fan of the channel. I really appreciate him. Thank you so much. There are barely exclusive originals for the PS5, and a few years ago, it was hard for anyone to even get a PS5 at a decent price, and most people either stuck with older PS4 or just go for Nintendo or straight up PC. I didn't get a PlayStation console for years, so I just stick with PC. To the defense of the PS4, there are way more games in general than the PS5. To be fair, you can play PS5 games on PS4, so that's not really an issue. But I see where he's coming from here, right? He's like, when I wanted to buy a PS5, the value proposition was terrible. People were scalping them. They were $1,000 for a PS5. Probably not worth it at that price point, right? So if you have your $500, $600 back then, and you're like, fuck, I'd rather just build a PC. I got a PC for like $500. My first like streaming rig that was a pre-built, because I had a hand-me-down PC before that. Shout out to Elliot Faye. Thank you for my first streaming PC ever that got me into all this. The PC after that was a pre-built, and I got it for like $500. And I streamed off of it and gamed off of it. Ran a triple monitor setup. I still have all my same peripherals except the third monitor. I sold it. I only have two now because I have a laptop screen if I need it. That was $500. I couldn't find a PS5 for that price back then, during the pandemic. So I was forced to either stick with my old PC that had like an i7 second gen and a GTX 970, 3.5 gigabyte with 512 gigs or 512 megabytes as like fake DDR5, fake DDR4. I don't know. GDDR5, or spend too much money on an overpriced console. You don't have to do that now. Now it's back at $500, and if you've already decided there's a lot of games you like and you'll just pick them up slowly, probably not that bad. I think there's also a bunch of places, including Sony's website, where you can do payments if you have good enough credit. Like you can use like Afterpay and like PayPal Pay in 4 and pay monthly or whatever on them. Even I think you can even get a PS5 through Best Buy monthly if you have good credit. So there's like a lot of ways to not make that cost of $500 feel like $500. And I think we're just complaining about things that don't matter for why the PS5. The one I will give people is that there is not enough exclusives for the PS5 to make the PS5 feel like a worthwhile adventure in comparison to either just buying another console, the Xbox, or buying a PC. The only console with exclusives that will never leave, because Nintendo is Nintendo. The Nintendo Switch, you're not playing Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom anywhere else unless you want to emulate. You're not playing Super Mario Wonder. You're not playing Super Mario Odyssey. You're not playing Metroid Dread. Right? These are Nintendo games. You're playing these on the Switch. And the Switch 2 when that comes out. Otherwise, because the vast majority of gaming happens on PC, Sony and Microsoft have both realized, shit, we're missing out on a huge audience of players if we don't also sell our games on PC. But then that waters down the exclusivity of what feels like their console makes their console important. Consoles feel less important the less exclusivity you have. And you have to remember that you have to pay to play online on either console, whether that be Xbox Live Gold, I think it's called like Xbox Game Pass Ultimate now, or I think you can also just use Xbox Game Pass Core. Consoles are less important, yeah. Or PlayStation Plus. You need those things to play online. Dude, I can boot up whatever fucking video game I want online right now for $0 if I already own it, because I have a PC. I do not need to pay for PlayStation Plus or Xbox Game Pass Core. You still have to pay for those things even on the last generation of Xbox and PlayStation. So I don't really know if that's a factor or not, but that is something else to weigh and think about. Because now you're paying $500 for your console up front, and then you have to pay $15 a month or $60 a year, I think it's like $70 or $80 a year now. And maybe that's worth it for you. Maybe it's not. I pay $300 more up front. I never pay for PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live. Look at me go. Woohoo. I don't even have Nintendo Switch online. He does, though. Playing Animal Crossing right now, I think. Anyways, give me some more comments. Tell me some more reasons why you think that the previous generation of consoles is so hard to get rid of. I legitimately think that the value proposition is not there because there's not exclusives anymore. But exclusives are bad for gaming in general. I don't think exclusives are actually good for gaming, but they're good for console manufacturers. That's my takeaway. I think that's what I believe is causing the reason for, I guess, and also crossplay. Crossplay 2 and cross-gen 2, but mostly that there's no exclusives. There's nothing on PS5. There's nothing on Xbox that explicitly you need Xbox for. Gears of War 6 is probably going to be on PC. Come on, let's be honest. Halo Infinite went day and day in PC and Xbox. Tell me some reasons why you think the previous generation consoles are still kicking, still going 4 years in. Do you think they're going to make it 5 years in? Do you think they're going to make it 6? Talk to me about it. Tell me about it. Leave it in the comments section down below. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. This has been Beanie Thuggish, critiquing my own comment section, appreciating everyone who commented, liked the video, and subscribed to the channel, just like you guys should do. It's been Beanie Thuggish, signing out and saying peace.